If you're going through life and you haven't achieved something of magnitude that you deem is so important and you're trying to do that, in this episode, we tell you how. We give you the key of how to do it. So keep watching and we'll tell you. Welcome back to the Chasing Greater Vision podcast. I'm your host, Rickey Jasper. Today's episode is how to set goals to get bigger wins. Now, I think that this is vitally important because we are expecting things without having any sort of goal attached, without having any sort of why attached to it. And then it's like, how do we get from here to there when we don't even specify where there is or specify what the basis of how we're going to get there is. So this episode, we talk about it. So I'll get into the tips at a high level, then I'll get into it more deeper in the content like I typically do. Number 1, specificity matters. Number 2, metrics matter. Number 3, direction drives your focus, and it also drives dollars if it's a financial goal that you have. And then number 4, achievement matters. All of these things matter, and these things need to be in the forefront for your goals so that you can actually achieve a goal, so you can actually have bigger wins. So a few things to break down, like from a goal standpoint. What is a goal? How do we structure a goal? And you probably heard it 1,000 times, but it is so important to really make sure your goals are structured like this. SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Now, these are important because if you have a goal that's specific, that means that you know what you want. Right? You are so dialed in on what you want. You can talk about it. You can talk about the specificity of it. And then that just, it negates all ambiguity. So you know what you want. Measurable, having metrics. Metrics are so important. We'll get into that later in the podcast. Achievable. You have to be able to achieve it, right? Like I can't say, oh, one of my goals is to be a 6'9" NBA player. Like I'm 5'11", 6 foot on a great day. And like, I'm just not going to be that. It's not achievable. It's not attainable. Relevant. It has to be relevant to your lifestyle. It has to be relevant to just how you go about your life. If it's not relevant, it's not going to stick because it doesn't align with any of your habits, and it doesn't align with any habits that you can actually tangibly make. For example, like if I'm saying, oh, I want to be this great piano player. Well, I don't have a piano in my house. I don't have anything that is semblance of an instrument in my house, so it's not relevant at the time being. And then timely, you want to put a time stamp on it on when this goal is going to be completed, because it's very easy for us to just push things off, and never achieve them. It's not that you can't achieve your goals, it's that you might not be respecting the process. And respecting the process starts with one, writing it down. We can dictate what we want out of other people. We can tell people what we want out of other people, and we can say we can hold them to the fire. But when it comes to us, we can't even respect the process enough to say, this is exactly what I want. This is the specificity that I want, right? So I'll get into it. Number 1, specificity matters. When you go into Starbucks, you know your order. When you go into Starbucks and you order your order that has all of the different things, it's add a shot, add a foam milk, add a whatever, and you get something that's not what you ordered, you know that it's not based on the specifics that you put in place. And you go back and you say, no, here are my specifics. This is what I want. And then when you taste something that is based on your specifics, you're like, that's a win. That's what I ordered. This makes me happy. This makes me feel fulfilled. That's how life is too. When you start to put specifics on your goals, you're able to know when you hit a win, you're able to recognize and say, boom, that's it. That's a win. That's a feeling that I was looking for. That's fulfillment I was looking for. That's the direction that I've been trying to go in. That's it right there. I'm so specific. I know what I want. Don't have just goals that are kind of pie in the sky that just aren't specific, that don't have timelines, right? Because the other thing too is like same thing with the Starbucks scenario. They might be very specific, but then if they're like, okay, cool, we'll get it to you tomorrow. You're like, but I'm here in the drive-thru. I'm here. It should be, in my hands the next 2 minutes. Like that's another thing that I'm expecting. So another part of the wins have to be timely because they have to be applicable, or they should be applicable to where you're at in life, right? Like me right now, it might be saying, oh, okay, I want to start a podcast. I want to get this thing done because I want to do X, Y, Z in coaching or whatever. It might not be applicable when I'm 80 years old, God willing, I live to that age, right? It might not be applicable then. So it's like, hey, timely is like, we want to get this ramped up. We have a certain amount of time. We're specific with what we want to put out there, and boom, we're rolling. So we know what our wins are. Be specific, be extremely specific in where your goals are and what they are and what their aim is, because when you see a win, you will recognize it because you will know exactly what you've aimed at. And when you don't get a win, you'll be like, ooh, maybe I'll adjust. Maybe I need to be a little bit more specific. Number 2, metrics matter. If you can measure it, you can improve it. This is something that I really learned in competing in High Rocks with my brother is After you compete, you go on their website and they tell you your splits for every single thing. So what you do is, if you continue to compete, you're like, well, I can get better in this by doing XYZ, right? So your metrics for your goals are important. For Mason and I, our metrics for success right now is not a number of how many people watch the podcast, because podcasting, or watch or listen to the podcast, because podcasting, it takes years and years and years to be successful, to get a crazy amount of viewership, if that's a level, if that's a metric of success. Our metric of success right now is showing up every week to put out the best product that we know how with the resources that we have, right? That is our metric of success. That was our metric of success for 2023. Now, our metric of success for 2024 is doing this, is being more dialed in on this, and then having a few different offerings, one in a course that we're about to drop, and then also in other coaching things that I'm currently doing that Mason is aiding in, which is performance coaching on my life coding system, and then also fitness coaching, right? So these things, this is another metric of success for 2024. It's have offerings, start onboarding clients, start putting out courses, so that people can also intake other areas of content, other things of content that they can improve on, and that they can go about their life and improve on in their life, right? So have metrics. When you have metrics, you're able to judge your actions, and you're able to be more tactical about your approach, right? When you're able to see the metrics, you're able to cut the fat. And it might be cutting the fat in time that you're spending elsewhere. It might be cutting the fat in, even if it is actually like from a fitness standpoint and things that you're eating. When you are able to cut the fat, you are able to walk in an area where you're able to see bigger wins that much quicker, that much faster, because you are locked in on what those metrics are and how to improve and how to get there faster and better and more timely, right? So metrics matter. Number 3, direction drives your focus, and it also drives your dollars if you are focusing on a financial goal. Your direction, where you look is where you focus, right? I can't see behind me because I'm not looking behind me. So I don't even know what's going on back there. I can't accomplish anything back there. I have no concept of what's behind me, right? Like, the only time that I do and that I can change anything that's behind me is if I turn around and I look and I change the direction, right? So changing your direction changes your focus. And it changes your drive, because if I am locked in on what I'm doing right now, and I'm locked in on this camera, and I'm locked in on trying to give you the best podcast that I can possibly give, then that's my focus. And I'm so much more driven to do so. I don't have other things that are going on, right? So when you have a goal that is so directive, it doesn't allow you to be distracted. And that's such a good thing, especially as we get older, right? Like, I would say this conversation is especially vital for people in their later 20s, early 30s, 40s, who life is getting more hectic, right? Like, when you have the fiance, when you have the house, when you have the dogs, when you have the kids, when you have the job, when things just get more hectic, you have to find ways and goals where they are so locked in that you are not spending a lot of time focusing on outside things, because when you're working on them, you might have a finite amount of time. You might only have 10 minutes out of the day. So you don't want to be distracted just not being so on things that aren't specific. You want to be specific. You want to make sure you have a timeline. You want to make sure that you can measure this thing, that the metrics are in place. You want to make sure that you are locked in and driven, because once you do that, and once you really focus on it, you feel accomplished, even if you only have 10 minutes. And that drives your focus in it. And then it makes you even more excited, because every time you go to work on your goals, you're like, okay, I'm locked in, I'm improving, my confidence is getting there. I'm seeing, the wins come through. I'm seeing where I'm able to win. And then you're more focused on it, and you're cutting the fat, and you're not focusing on other things. It's this cycle that helps. It's this cycle that is so positive and is so good. And it's extremely vital to do this, especially as life is getting more hectic, because I promise you, it is. If it hasn't already, it will. And it's going to help. Number 4 is achievement matters. Now, I am one that's very big on saying, when you are focusing on a process, you should focus on a process and not the prize. So when I say achievement, I don't mean just the prize. I mean achievement of every day walking through the goal, right? Because what happens is, doing something consistently increases confidence. I will preach this on every podcast. I will literally create a podcast and drop it every week, and it's the same thing, because this is how I live my life. It's built on consistency. If you follow me on Instagram, I talk about consistency. Performance client of mine, I talk about consistency. If you're a fitness client of mine, I talk about consistency, because consistency is a skill that is built over time, and that is something where when you do that and you start to see achievement, it's like a snowball. It just gets bigger and bigger, and you get better and better, and you start to move faster and you start to move freer because you're like, wow. And then wins start to come and things start to happen. You're like, where is this coming from? And it's because you started being consistent with the small things, and your consistency is the achievement in and of itself. It's not just the thing at the end, because the thing at the end, that's a culmination of the consistent effort every single day. It's a culmination of the increased confidence that you got every single day, right? So that is something that you really want to focus on, is the achievement of every day. Like, what does your day look like around your goals? And when your day starts to form around your goals, where you make sure that you have time for them, then you can have a level of achievement every single day. And when you have a level of achievement every single day, whatever that win is, as it comes closer, you're able to sniff it out, you're able to feel it, and you're able to get more excited about it, and that makes you push that much harder in it. So how to set goals for bigger wins. Again, number one, specificity matters. Be so specific. Number two, metrics matter. Have metrics to your goals. When you can measure it, you can improve it. Number three, your direction drives your focus, and if it's a financial thing, it drives your dollars. Make sure that your goals set your direction, that it sets your focus. When you set your focus, it's like a horse with blinders on. All the other things don't necessarily matter. You can't even see them anyway. You're cutting the fat. Doesn't matter. You're going in the direction of your sight. And number four, achievement matters. When you start to achieve things on a daily basis, and achievement is not just at the end. Achievement is every single day. You're doing something every single day, something that you can be proud of every single day, something you can be confident in every single day. That is true achievement, something that you're consistent in every single day. And what happens when you do that is you bring other people along, because they see that you're consistent. They ask you how. They ask you why. You tell your story. And when you tell your story, it makes somebody else do the same thing. That's how we all move faster and better together. That's how we all make ourselves better and stronger. I hope that as I do this podcast, as you see the consistency, and I'll be real, I'll keep it a buck with you, as you see the consistency over seeing the views being 9 views, 10 views, 30 views, 2 views, 5 views, whatever it is, you see the consistency, because at the end of the day, I'm like, showing up is an achievement because I'm so excited to do this. And then every single day we have different things that we are focused on. Every single day we have the same thing that we're focused on, but we have different areas that we can be proud of because we're doing a thing, right? So I'm telling you, you do these things, it will allow you to get bigger wins. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to see your life change, and you're going to see yourself just becoming a better person. You're going to continue to get win after win after win. So I hope that this message helped. If it did, please like, comment, subscribe, send it to somebody who needs it, and I will see you next time. Peace. Thank you so much for watching this video. We have clips and content coming out every single week, full videos on Thursdays, and clips coming out almost every single day. You can subscribe to this channel if you like it. Also, please send it to somebody who you know needs this message or any message that you see, and we will see you in the next video.